Hi friends, today I'm going to talk about how very easily you can become a rice exporter. You might be a miller, you might be a trader, you might be a aspiring entrepreneur. So even you might be a student, trying to understand how you get into exporting. And today I am going to talk about rice exporting, right? So friends, what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you 8 main things that we should cover, and then I'm going to make a video for each one of those 8 things, right? So first thing is how do we find a buyer, right? So be it any country that you would want to focus on, right? So we have to first find a country, select a country, and then select a buyers. How do you find buyers? Now selecting a country is the first thing. I would suggest for businesses or aspiring exporters, for the first time, always choose countries which are economically very sound. Say for example the United Arab Emirates, say for example Singapore, Malaysia, US, Australia, or any country in the Europe, right? Because there is a lot of things involved in this. So first you select a buyer from a particular country, right? Second thing that you need to understand is how do you understand that a buyer is authentic? He is a real business or man or a company, that there is no fraud involved. You need to know the financials of the company. You need to know whether they are able to pay you on time and things like that, right? So first thing is finding a buyer in a particular country. Second thing is trying to understand what or which buyer can be authentic and there is no fraud involved here. And the second thing is how do you make pricing, right? Like for example, if you are supplying from in India, you are based on your cost price, you will add your margin and then supply. But in an export transaction, you are going to bill in US dollars or in a currency which is not rupees, right? So how do you do that? That is the third point we will cover in the next video. And the fourth point that we will cover is payment and terms. How do you collect payments in US dollars, or how do you tell your customers how is the payment and the terms? Is it going to be an advance? Is it going to be an LC? Is it going to be through a bank transaction? Is it going to be anything that involves credit? So I'm talking about payments here. The next part is documentation. In a local business, that when you supply within the country or within your state or within your city, the supply is very simple. The documentation is very simple. You know it, right? You generate an invoice, or if there is an e-way bill involved in this, if there is a delivery challan involved in this, it's simple. But when it comes to export, it is not as that simple, right? But my friends, it is really simple. We are going to talk about each one of this. So documentation is one thing. Second is the shipment. So how are you going to make the shipment, right? Say for example, the rice mill is in, say, Nellore in Andhra Pradesh or Raichur in Karnataka. Firstly, the consignment has to reach up nearest port, right? It might be Mumbai port, it might be Chennai port. So how do you do the shipment? How do you make it reach the port? From the port, what happens, right? That is what we cover. And the next thing is very important to understand is that the role of bank is very important as per the guidelines by RBI, right? Export is not a very simple transaction. Export transactions are all monitored by the RBI. So your bank plays a very important role, and we are not allowed to do exports as we wish. There are some regulations and they are very simple, which we will cover in detail. So these are the quick 8 points that we will cover. I hope you have noted the points. I'm going to repeat again. The first being finding a buyer, finding a country, finding that the buyer is authentic. Second is pricing in US dollars. Fourth one is payment terms. Fifth one is documentation. Sixth one is shipment. Seventh one is bank's role, and eighth one is RBI, right? The next video, my friends, please follow the next videos. I'm going to talk about each topic a little bit more in detail. Thank you.